The new Sherlock Holmes crossover is here, and we've got a look at the new Survivor. Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode, guys. Let's get into talking about what we're getting this week, because this week we're getting the new crossover that is the Sherlock Holmes / Conan Doyle crossover that's going to bring along a special essence, including the S-tier skin for novelists called, of course, Sherlock Holmes. This skin seems to change form when using the metaphor ability. I haven't yet seen the alternate form, but I do know that the base form looks pretty cool overall. There's the A-tier postman skin Dr. Watson, that is my personal favorite. There's the A-tier first officer skin called Inspector Lestrade. The A-tier knight skin is called Art Dealer, that I'm sure a lot of people are a big fan of. And of course, we're getting B-tiers for meteorologists called Wiggins, painters getting Clovis, embalmers getting Laverne, and disciples getting Dahlia. If you thought that was all we're getting from the crossover, well, no, of course. We are getting more content, including some store content, including the special shop package that has the S-tier journalist skin Miss Watson and the A-tier accessory called Sherlock Holmes' Adventure. That's like a book with a flower in it. The journalist skin looks absolutely beautiful. I would say it's probably my second or third favorite, I think, in this crossover. Similar to the Sherlock Holmes skin for novelist, this skin should also change form whenever she summons her Orphe illusion, and the accessory itself seems to change what her ability looks like and also changes Orphe's appearance. That's quite nice. This package is only for echoes and should cost 2,688 echoes with a discount for the first week, and then originally the real price is full 3,956, and you can also purchase these two items separately, but also only for echoes, not for fragments. I'm sorry about that. There's an A-tier room that's coming with this crossover that's called 221B. That's a reference, of course, to the Sherlock Holmes books. This room costs 2,888 echoes with the discount, and then 3,288 echoes without the discount after the first week. It is, as far as I can tell, a massive room that has some really cool furniture pieces. I'm still surprised this is an A-tier room and not an S-tier room, because you can just put so much furniture in here. And in the store, you'll also find some furniture packages and crossover furniture that you'll be able to purchase as well. There's a ton of stuff. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but they're really cool. The crossover is going to have an event itself, where if you share an event poster, you'll be able to get 10 crossover essences that will possibly get you one of those fancy A tiers or even the S tier skin. And if you participate in the event, whatever we have to do for the event, you'll get different rewards, including essences, portraits, frames, furniture, and even more. Another thing that we're getting this week is we're getting the new season that is season 36, that of course brings along the season 36 Logic Path skin that is an A tier for sculptor called Hippocampus. This skin is like a seahorse necromancer mix. I don't really know. It's a relatively nice looking skin. Still not one of my favorites for sculptor, but still quite good. And also she gets a B tier accessory called Limbic System, and of course portrait and portrait frame that you guys can see on the screen here. We also know what the season 36 rank rewards are, because we talked a little bit about them last week. We know that the S tier breaking wheel one is called Offering, and it has some really cool effects because they did reveal them, including effects on his attack swing, trails behind him when he's walking that look similar to the accessory itself with little fire candle things, effects whenever he transforms, also when he hits survivors with his spikes when he rolls over them, and a red and green explosion whenever he does his transformation with the spikes that go around him. Very cool. There's also the A tier coordinator accessory called Miniature Pistol that has some interesting flower effects on the explosion. I was not expecting flowers, and also petals fall off of the kind of flare whenever you shoot it. It's not the most amazing accessory that she's ever had, but it's not too bad overall. Very similar to the color of the breaking wheel one. And we've got the A tier accessory for the shadow called Dream's Depth that, as I predicted, changes the stone's radius to a pulsing blue, and also changes things such as her possession symbol, and also her kind of when she returns the ghost back to herself, changes that also to a blue effect. Another thing that we should be receiving this week is we should be receiving this special Evil Reptilian Spyglass store skin that should be, I think, 1,000 spyglasses. This skin is an S tier, and it is called Jormungandr. I still think I remember the pronunciation. It's a very, very cool skin, and I will be purchasing it day one. Although I don't play a lot of Evil Reptilian nowadays, it's still a really cool skin. Some other things that we potentially might see this week, but also might not see this week, so keep this with a kind of grain of salt. We might see some adjustments for some characters, including Novelist. His switch radius whenever he switches places with the hunter has slightly been increased in the radius, so you'll be able to do it from further away. Also, whenever there's another survivor near the hunter, it usually reduces your distance of when you're able to do the swap. Well, they've slightly increased the radius there as well. They've made it so Novelist's movement speed increase lasts a tiny bit longer, and also his decoding debuff whenever he gets above 50% on the Cypher machine has been slightly reduced, meaning that he can decode a little bit faster. It was minus 10%, now it's minus 5%. I think I understood that correctly. Also, Knight is going to get some nerfs. Yes, his distance rescue ability, where he kind of puts the sword in the ground to rescue someone, the distance has been shortened slightly, along with the permitted height distance, so he has to do it a little bit at a lower height than he was before. The animation time for his distance rescue has also been increased, meaning it's a little bit easier to hit him out of it. Survivors that are protected by Knight's rescue shield effect are not able to interact with roller coaster or even similar map elements until the effect ends. And then we've got Hullabaloo that's getting a small change, where survivors will only receive negative effects from being in his circle after standing in it for 0.3 seconds. I believe this is so that people like harassers and stuff like that can come in and stun him without getting interrupted immediately, such as forward. Goatman has had a couple of changes as well. I believe they are nerfs, where they've increased the energy required to summon a second cage inside of another one considerably, and they've also made it so the cage has a slightly shorter duration of existence. It's a little bit sad if you are a Goatman main, but I think this is completely understandable. Another thing we might possibly see is we might possibly be getting the Survivor and Hunter badges all the way up to Professor and Clerk. So any character that was released before Clerk and Professor, including Professor and Clerk, should be getting badges if they haven't already got them. And another thing that we're getting this week is we're getting one character day. There's on the 18th of February, and that is for Geisha. It's going to be her 6th character day, meaning she's getting a special portrait. Let's talk about what's coming from the future now, because we've just had the reveal of what the appearance of the new survivor is. The character is called Archer. Also, her name is Brynhildr Viluf. I think I pronounced that correctly. I had to look it up beforehand. She's got a very cool name. She's holding a bow, so we can imagine she might be a harasser, although I don't really want another harasser in this game. And she has something on her wrist that seems to hold different arrowheads. I'm assuming this means that she might be able to swap between different arrowheads on her bow. It could just also be an aesthetic thing. This is just my opinion. Maybe you guys have different opinions. A lot of people were theorizing that this character was related, either like a sister or a daughter or a mother, to Ithaqua, that is, of course, Nightwatch. But reportedly, Ithaqua and Brynhildr don't share the same parents, but are still related because of their last name or something like that. They are just distant relatives, as far as I understand. I'm still curious to see what the survivor's abilities are. I'm really hoping it isn't some type of harasser, unless it's something a little bit more creative, like a balloon rescue character, maybe, I don't know. Just a specifically one for that, I don't know. I just hope that it's something connected to trick arrows instead of just, shooting arrows at the hunter. We had a better look at the Prisoner Esports accessory. We already know what the skin looks like, although we did get another piece of art for it, but we didn't really know what the accessory was. We knew it was called Infinity, but we now know that it looks like an interesting harp instrument that seems to be connected to his skin overall, as that is the logo and the release date of his skin, and it's surrounded by like a golden infinity sign. It's just a really fancy looking brooch, although we don't know what the effects are. It is coming next week though. Oh, and we're also getting some optimizations again, or they redid or changed, or I don't know what they did. I think they've redone the optimizations for Doctor, Explorer, and Mind's Eye's faces. I think they looked fine before. I don't know what they changed, but they still look good right now. If you haven't already, make sure that you click the video that's on the screen right there, because YouTube thinks you'll like it.